is Stephen Kenny, the Irish manager. So, Richie, what's the verdict?
I think that was a good night. Plenty of positives. The result obviously is a positive one. Extends the run that Stephen and his team are on since the Luxembourg defeat of only losing 1 in 9 games. Kept a clean sheet against Ronaldo and co. The Portugal team, we'll repeat everything we said at half-time. They're not at full strength. You question maybe their attitude. Obviously had a player sent off with 10 minutes to go. But from an Irish perspective, there was plenty of positives there.
Liam, plenty of positives. Are you encouraged by what you've seen?
Well, I would have said I was encouraged going into the game, and it's probably confirmed that feeling I had. But it was a damp squib, Dara, that match. Didn't liven up till Pepe went and got himself sent off. And then Ireland obviously dominated possession, and there was a bit of stuff going on in the box where it could have broke to us.
Okay, Liam, just carry on your point. You called it a bit of a damp squib.
Yeah, until Pepe got himself sent off. No, there was positive things about the Irish team. Robinson did play well. But really, Portugal just came to play within themselves, Dara. They had a big eye on the match on Sunday against Serbia. A draw was a very good result for them. They got a draw without too much sweat. As I say, we only really put them under pressure in that last 10 minutes. We hardly had any chances before that. So it was all right, but, you know, if you're looking for a confirmation that Stephen Kenny's the way to go after that, I wouldn't make a judgment on that because Portugal had a B team out and they played within themselves.
Still a fair bit of class in that team, probably worth hundreds of millions.
Yeah,
you know.
They left all the players out that had yellow cards. They were watching the game against Serbia on Sunday. They didn't really go for Ireland.
Did we really go for them? Apart from the last 10 minutes?
I thought it was a bit of a sparring match up to the 80th minute. That's why I described it as a damp squib.
Richie?
You haven't seen evidence that he should get a contract. Have you seen enough to say that he shouldn't?
No. That's why I would wait. As I said to you before, there's games to come up after the Luxembourg game. Obviously, we've got the Luxembourg game. Then there's games to come up in March when you think you'll get friendly games because of the Euros. You might have 2 or 3 more matches then. Then we've got something like 4 matches in the Nations League in June. Why don't you gather all the evidence together before you make a decision?
That does go against most things that I've heard. Now, I know we mentioned about this report, unconfirmed, that the FAI may do this next week. But I know from going back a while that what was said was they would take the entire campaign, the World Cup qualifying campaign, in its entirety. And I know the contract runs up until July next year, but that wasn't a factor.
Yeah, but it's not conclusive, this campaign, whether he should keep his job or not. That's
your view. That's your view. Yeah. Others will disagree.
It's not conclusive. You look at conclusive. You look at the results, and you know they've been very, very poor. We've taken a point off Portugal here because they played within themselves.
Yeah, okay.
Bazzuno stopped us from getting beat by Serbia, but we got a point there. But we failed against the poorer teams that Ireland have beaten easily in the past. We failed against. So you know you've got to look at all these things, and that's why I'm saying, let's have some more time to see if we are progressing further on.
OK. 0-0 here between the Republic of Ireland and Portugal. Let's get stuck in, Liam, to what Ireland managed to create in the second half.
Well, we didn't create an awful lot, Dara, to be honest, but Portugal got themselves into trouble here, playing in the box. We've seen teams do this before, and it was Nunes to take liberties here, put under pressure. We get the ball back, half a chance, comes to Cullen, but it's a weak shot, you know. And this one here is a real good chance and a real good move. I thought Ida did very, very well when he came on. I thought Kenny got his selection wrong with McGrath playing. I would have rather seen Ida and Robinson out wide, but that's another point. But that was Stevens coming in. Good move. You see Ida holding it up. He's a powerful boy. Good break down the right. Stevens makes a good run as we track him there. Good run, wing back into the box. But I think you said it while we were watching, Dara. It was on his wrong foot, wasn't he? Yeah. He's a much pronounced left-footed player, and he would have liked that maybe on the other side.
Yeah, for sure. OK. Portugal, when we look at what they created, one name, as you expect, comes up all the time.
Yeah, like looking at the match, you didn't see a lot of him, but we've seen him so often in games where he's not a central figure to a lot of what's happening, and then when he gets goal scoring opportunities, he punishes you. Thankfully, he didn't do that tonight, but this is a really, really good break from Portugal. Really good delivery to exactly the right person you want in the position that he scored so many goals for, and just fortunate for us, it just bounces to the other side of the post. I was really worried about this. We were like 6 players in our approaching our area. The last person you want to have the ball at his feet. You could see what he was trying to do, and he put it wide. And then in the 95th minute, you think, well, this is going nowhere. Surely the angle's against him. You think this is exactly the time in games lately where he's broken so many hearts, but thankfully he didn't. But it's a night of positives. Like, we're trying to assess different aspects of it. But imagine the scene in the dressing room now, and imagine, you know, Callum Robinson mentioned there about the team's development and where they're going, and so I think that they're right within the group to be very pleased with how tonight went, and to focus on loads of the positives, and to believe that they're going somewhere. We don't know how far this team can go. So many of these players, like Doherty, Ida, Hendrick, haven't started a league game yet for their clubs. We're nearly 3 months into the season.
And that's going to be a consistent problem for us.
Bene McGrath made their debuts in international football in June. Bazzuno earlier in the year. Like, these aren't the group of players that any previous sets of supporters or manager have been looking at. So I think, given where they are and the depths of where we were earlier in the group, I think they've recovered well.
Yeah. See, that's one of the points, I suppose, Liam, that strikes me about it. You know, and okay, Luxembourg is something that Stephen Kenny, it'll always be there, the defeat here in March, but that things
and
have...
the draw against us.
Yeah, sure, but things have got, you know, the graph is pointing upwards, as you know, we have improved from
I said
them.
that after Serbia.
Yeah.
I don't want people to think I'm mealy-mouthed about Stephen Kenny. I think he's doing a pretty good job, but whether he's the man to take it forward or not, I think we should wait before we make that decision. Why should we make a decision now? He's got another 8 months to run on his contract, so why don't we wait?
Do you not think it'd give him a huge boost? Personally, as a coach, learning his trade at international level?
It's not about him. It's about whether the team can qualify for the next Euros. That's what he said. That's what his aim is. He said the World Cup was beyond us to qualify for the World Cup. I think he was honest about that. But he didn't say that at the outset. He said that when the whole thing was done and dusted. So the FAI have a chance to assess him even further. Why should we? We've done that too often in the past, you know. It's given contracts out and then they've backfired on us. I would wait.
Okay. Let's look at the Pepe red card. Well, there was 2 yellows. Do you want to have a look at this now? Because I don't know what your feeling is about the 2 yellows.
Yeah, but I think we spoke so much before the game. The manager's team selection was clearly aimed at keeping as many of the top players available for selection for Sunday, so he left 5 of the 6 lads that came into us in a booking on the bench. I think this is a bit harsh, and if I was Callum Robinson, I wouldn't be mad in looking at these pictures again and again. I think...
Do you think his reputation follows him around? We know what he's like over years.
You know, possibly. I can't read the ref's mind, but I think that was... If I did that to a player, I'd be particularly disappointed. Not only that the referee gave a booking, but I'd be fairly annoyed with the opponent for going down the way in which Robinson did. But we 10 minutes at that point against 10 men to create something, and we huffed and puffed but couldn't create a really clear opening.
What about the goal that was disallowed, Liam?
Well, you know, there wasn't an awful lot in it. You know, the referee did blow the whistle because we were right on top of it in our position here.
Yeah.
He did blow the whistle, and Keane did get his arm across him. But when you saw the goal that was given against Liverpool, against West Ham, this doesn't, you know, it pales into insignificance. He hardly touches him, you know. But it was the 95th minute, the referee probably thinking, oh, I don't want a controversial goal here, I'm going to blow the whistle, and that's what he did. But I've seen them given...
Yeah.
There's no aggression there. He's kind of stood his ground.
None at all. And Robinson touched on it in his interview. There's a perception that referees are very protected in scenarios where they shouldn't be, and I think that example is...
Well, goalkeepers are protected.
Goalkeepers. Yeah. I think that incident is a very good example.
And referees as well.
Referee tonight, I don't think, had a particularly good game. I know we're meant to lay off referees in this country for obvious reasons, but tonight Referee didn't have a good game at all, I don't think.
Yeah. We would have taken 0-0 beforehand, yeah?
I think a point against Portugal at home, on the back of a performance away against Portugal where we were winning with a minute to go, I think overall, is a good return. It would be lovely to sit here and talk about a win. It would be great to think, even in fair, if we held on with 1-0 with a minute to go, but we didn't. And I keep coming back to it. I hope my positivity doesn't sound like it's kind of couched in negativity, because the realistic expectations of the squad that we have, given so many of them are new to international football, I think has to be factored into any analysis of how we are and where we're going.
Briefly. Why wouldn't you wait?
Because I think we've seen absolutely everything we've seen from Stephen's approach and the players' response. I think we've seen his approach to blooding new players, and the value of waiting the value of waiting to see how he does in friendlies.
Everybody's blooding new players. I had a stat there.
You've asked me a question. Let's presume you want me to answer it. The friendlies in March, I don't think are particularly important. And if he's not the manager, then get him out of there and get the proper manager to take the full Nations League campaign. There's an advantage to replacing him if he's going to be replaced.
If you're undecided or you're not sure, let's wait for more evidence.